What's up, dudes? Okay, so welcome back. All right, we have another video today. Here in Hawaii, it is currently 11, I believe. So, back where my family is, it's 6 hours above. It's like 5 right now. It's 5 right now, and it's 11 right here. It's very sunny outside. I'm not going out today though because tomorrow I work. I have to shave from our 4-day weekend. Got a little mustache going. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, so a lot of people like to know how basic training is. So I'm gonna kind of help you guys out now. Tell you what basic training is, like what you do at basic. Okay, so I went to basic training at Fort Jackson. It was, relaxing Jackson, although it's not really as relaxing as people think. It does have its ups and downs. You gotta deal with things, blah blah blah. I'll get into that later in the video. But let's get to it. Okay, so initially, once you get into MEPS, you get ready for all your tests, everything, and like it's like the ASVAB is like medical stuff. They need to get your blood. They need to get pee test. They need to check things that I thought they would never make me check. They just said, "Hey, man, get down and spread the cheeks." I was like, It was like an old man. I was like, "Okay, chill out. Take me out on a date first." But other than that, MEPS was a very fast process for me because not a lot of people were there. I have heard that people that go to MEPS they spend like hours standing there or sitting down if you have to sit down. Excuse me. But they spent hours and hours just sitting there. I luckily didn't have to go through that because I went on a date. I think it was on Tuesday. A lot of people were like at school and stuff. I didn't go to school. I said, I'm already getting my education in the military. Why do I go to school? Go to school. I'm just kidding. Get your education in school. It's very important. Unless you're going into the military. All right. So once you finish MEPS, you come. They give you a date to leave. All right. My date was I went. I believe in March, and my date to leave was June 13th. So I was told with like at least like 2 months notice of when I was leaving, 2 to 3. So till that day, I've just been waiting, working out, going on future soldier training, blah blah blah. And then when you go to MEPS, that the day before you're supposed to ship out, you get sent to a hotel. At the hotel, they treat you super nice. You stay overnight. The next morning, you get on a bus. That bus takes you to MEPS. At MEPS, they run some tests. They take a P test again, and then they take a blood sample again. That's just for their measures, just in case you smoked or did some medicinal herbs before you went. Um, Other than that, the process of you actually going to MEPS the second time is actually very expeditious when it comes to getting in and getting out because all you're really going in for is just the regular urine analysis, blood test, and when it comes to your flight tickets, they actually give you your flight tickets and a voucher for like I believe should be $25. They gave me $25 to use wherever I was gonna eat, and I took advantage of it. I used it. So once you get your ticket, you get into a bus. Well, mine, I didn't have space into my bus, so everybody went in a bus, and I went into like a little shuttle. I believe it's like a little bus, and then they took us. I got to the airport. They dropped us off at Miami International. They dropped me off at the wrong gate, and my gate was all the way in the other side of the airport. and I didn't know because I didn't even know where I was going because all they did was give us the ticket. They didn't even tell us anything. And I go and I noticed, I'm like, wow, I'm all the way on the other side. So I walked back to see, it was like me and a couple other two people. It was like two people. Yeah, a couple others. We go back and we ask the dude, we're like, hey man, can you take us back? He's like, nah, I can't. That's all on you guys. So then we walk all the way to the side, we wait. I get on the plane. We go over to Atlanta. When we get to Atlanta, I had a 6 hour layover, I believe. It was extremely long. Other than that, I got back on the plane over at Atlanta. I went over to the other airport. The moment we got to that airport, the drill sergeants were already waiting for us. They were at the airport waiting for us. So as we came out into like the lobby of the airport, the drill sergeants were there and they were, hey, soldiers, are you soldiers? You need to come over here, form up over there. So I go, my little, I don't know, I have a little like duffel bag, I'm running and stuff. And I go, boom, I sit there, like stand at parade rest, and then they show you how to do parade rest. I know how to do it, but for the other people, they show you in the bot, and then they're like, stop talking. So we lost our privilege to talk ever since then. After a while, we got into the bus and we were on our way to Fort Jackson. At Fort Jackson, when we got off, it was actually not something that I was expecting because it was nighttime. You see that video of everybody forming up at the footsteps. Yeah, that is true. We got out. It was nighttime. We got on the footsteps. I was expecting to get, possibly yelled at, but I didn't get yelled at. We're actually fairly compliant with us, but I feel like that's just a reception thing. So we got to reception. Reception is should be, I believe it's 120th over at Fort Jackson. I think it's different for certain people, but mine was 120th. So we get there and they make us sign a whole mess of paperwork. We get all of our uniforms, all of our equipment and stuff that we needed. We give us a little camelback to put water in. And we didn't sleep that night because we got there at 11. The whole process lasted until 3 in the morning and we had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning the next day because we had to in process everything, do medical, do all this and a whole mess of other stuff. I have to do extra stuff because I'm aviation and we have our own flight surgeons. So we had to go through flight ops and uh, get a whole mess of different tests compared to everyone. So we stayed there for about a week. I got held over because the company that I was going to was full, and I guess they slotted me into Echo Company, which was after the company I was supposed to go into, which was Delta. But honestly, best thing that ever could have happened because man, God works his ways, and I had the best time of my life over in Echo Company. So we get ready. I had my phone this whole time in reception. I don't know if it's different for the people that are going. Keep in mind, like this is all through COVID. Like COVID was going on, so we had like our mask on. Nobody was getting yelled at. Nobody could get smoked. We had our phones. We just couldn't have our phones on us while we were doing all the medical stuff. We had our phones. Everything was chill. Besides the fact that we had to be in the sun multiple hours of the day, and then we had to get the COVID test, which was big white stick up your nose. Other than that, I actually started bleeding. My first time getting it, I bled a little bit through my nose. I thought I was dying, but I wasn't dying, of course. But damn, I keep on burping. But reception was fairly fun because the people there made it fun. It is what you make out of it. Okay, so 1 week there, we get on the buses. I meet my drill sergeants for the first time. They're just sitting. It's so intimidating when you see your drill sergeants sitting where like their area is while they wait for you to get on the bus. It's so intimidating. So us being trainees, because they're not supposed to call us privates anymore, they call us trainees. Us being trainees, we're getting all our bags, getting all our stuff into a big LMTV, which is like a huge truck. And we're loading our bags. In order for us to load our bags, we need to go around the truck. Always go around. So we go, and our drill sergeants are sitting at the bleachers. And then I go, and I look through the corner of my eye, and all I see is that hat. And I noticed one of the drill sergeants were staring at me. And then so I stared back. I was just wondering if they knew something from me. And at that moment, I knew it wasn't gonna go well. And the dude made me drop. He just wanted to mess with me. He said, "Hey, you trainee, drop right now." And I dropped. He didn't even yell at me. He just laughing. He's like, "All right, get up." Maybe do like two push-ups, I think. But I thought I took it serious. I thought I was in trouble. I was like, "Shit, what did I do? Damn, I already got in trouble." But other than that, it was fine. So we go to basic. This was at reception. So we go to actual basic training, and I was supposed to be part of third platoon, but they got confused with the platoons, and they put me into first platoon. First platoon consisted of 80 people. Our drill sergeants were Drill Sergeant Bartz, Drill Sergeant Darrensburg, and First Lieutenant. Ooh, I don't remember his name. He left mid basic training. He wasn't with us a lot, so I don't really remember his name. Mainly, you call officers by you don't call them by their rank or anything. It was kind of hard to remember his name. Actually, he left very early. Other than that, we had a new Drill Sergeant Wingate. He was awesome. All three of them, well, one of Drill Sergeant Jarensburg was infantry, Drill Sergeant Wingate, he was artillery, and Drill Sergeant Bartz. Funny because you would think he is the weakest one, but the man had a Special Forces tab with a Special Forces deployment patch, but he was a 42 Alpha. 42 Alpha is human resources. So tell me this: how does? Oh, and he had a ESB, which is an Expert Soldier badge, with a Jumpmaster badge because he was airborne as well. The man was decked. He had so much chest candy, it wasn't even funny. Chest candy's ribbons and all those badges and stuff. So he was a 42 Alpha human resources. You would think human resources, you deal with things that are fairly easy, like paperwork and things like that. But oh my bro, the dude was jacked. The dude would do push ups with us and make us do like 50, and he would still just be. Bro, drill sergeants are at another level. Oh, and drill sergeant Yates. We also had another female drill sergeant Yates. She also left midway because she was going through a training to get promoted. But man, she was a beast. Freaking drill sergeant Yates, man. Females in the military, you gotta be careful with because being a female, you really need to implement authority because a lot of other males won't really respect you, and I don't understand why people do that because you should just show the same amount of respect as to whoever would be in front of you. Female or male, rank or no rank, because you never know. Like that person could be your first order one day. That person could save your life one day. You're putting yourself in a predicament where you're making that person not like you because you're disrespectful. Of course, me, if you were to disrespect me, I will still be there for you. But think of it like this: I'll give you the same energy you give me. If you are rude to me, I'm gonna help you out. But when you're in trouble, I'm gonna be like, well, it's your fault. But when you genuinely need help, I'll help you. But I won't pull you out of certain situations. Like that's on you. So we go through a phase called yellow phase, which is quarantine kind of because it's basic. And the yellow phase was like no PT. It was minor PT actually. We couldn't get smoked. We didn't have no shark attack. We had to stay from the bay. A bay is like a whole room that we have. From the bay to the little training company training area, CTA, I think it was called. And that's it. Like Yellow Phase was fairly chill. It was extremely boring because you come in with the mindset, "Ooh, I'm ready." I'm ready to do all this badass stuff. But it actually bummed me out because we didn't do much. And after 2 weeks of the Yellow Phase, we get our coronavirus test. And if you pass negative, then you move on to Red Phase. Red Phase was the hardest phase because it's the phase where you're trying to prove yourself, and all the drill sergeants basically go ham and they try to discipline you the best they can. So my drill sergeant had this thing where he would smoke the dog shit out of us, bro, sweat, like puddles of sweat. And then after, he would explain to us why he did it. And it's kind of like that muscle memory that kicks in when it comes to you getting pain. It's like if I were to not do this, I wouldn't get punished for it. But if I were to do this, I would be rewarded for it. So I'd rather be. He had this saying: it's either you're gonna be smart or you're gonna be strong. You pick. So I went kind of towards the smart side, but I wanted to do push-ups. I wanted to get smoked, so I would do whenever someone else would get smoked, I would just drop with them, man. Like it was just fun at that point because you go to basic training expecting all this bad stuff. Embrace it, man. Like you're there stuck for 3 months. Just have fun. Just know that the drill sergeants, whenever they yell at you, they are having fun. Unless they're extremely pissed, the drill sergeants have fun yelling at you. So just, I want to say laugh at their face because that's disrespectful, but just in the back of your mind, tell yourself, this is just a game, man. Like I can get through it. They're not serious. They call me fat. All right, they call me fat. I mean, they didn't call me fat. They didn't call anyone fat. They're not allowed to. But oh, they're making me run. They're making me do push-ups. It's okay because I know they're just having fun. Like they're trying to discipline us. Is corrective actions. They're doing it with us, so I wouldn't say it's just me doing it. Just remember, it's just have fun because you don't want to be that one dude that's always negative about stuff, and you know people are trying to help you, but you kind of bring them down with you. So don't be like that. So after red phase, we get into this thing called white phase, which my platoon couldn't get into because there was still some people that are extremely undisciplined. So we were like red phase. It's red. Each phase is 3 weeks. My sorry, 2 weeks. My red phase lasted 3 weeks because of the people that were being a little too undisciplined. We got smoked a lot, but we were the best platoon. Physically wise. So once you get into white phase, it's kind of like the marksmanship part. You don't necessarily get smoked for the tiny things because you should have learned from red phase that if you don't do bad things, you'll get rewarded for it, and you wouldn't get messed around with as much. So red phase, remember, red phase is them trying to discipline you into the military life. Because remember, you're coming in from a civilian lifestyle straight into a military lifestyle. For me, I went straight out of high school, so that's extremely hard because you take someone, not me, I was very respectful, but like some other people, they're still in their adolescent years. They still came from doing you know, things that they didn't care about, so nonchalant about it. So you're trying to discipline them into actually caring and actually wanting to do better here in the military. Whereas there's a chain of command. There's a structure. You need to follow first line. You need to follow rules, follow orders until you get to that position. Then you need to give the orders while following orders as well. So it's kind of hard. And once you get into white phase, you're expected to know a little more of it. So they're kind of laid back and chill. After white phase, which was the marksmanship phase, you get into blue phase. Blue phase is more like the intense thing where you add everything. So everything you learn in red phase and white phase, you add it on to blue phase. So in white phase, in red phase, you do these like ruck marches and WTBDs, word task and battle drills, and they kind of show you how to maneuver as a formation in woods, as a formation into linear danger, and things as in using your equipment, entrenching tools, things like that. So the first one that you have is a ruck march of the hammer. I believe it's just 1 day. I don't even think it was a full night. We literally went and came back. It was so you go from one side, you ruck like 3 miles, then you come back. But while you're there, you need to do drills, you need to do things. And then during white phase, you have something called the anvil, which is a 1 night stay somewhere. You have to live off of MREs for 2 days. You walk there and then you walk back with a ruck. A ruck is probably like 60 pounds if you actually pack it up. And then during blue phase, you add everything you learned from the hammer and the anvil and you implement it towards the forge. Forge, I would say a lot of infantry dudes have it worse, but I would say the forge was the worst one for me. That was like, oof, 12 miles with a 60-pound ruck up a hill. My back was hurting. And I'm short, so I was kind of running most of the time because I was helping my battle buddies up in the back. And keep in mind, I'm first platoon, so we're all the way in the front, and there was people all like fourth platoon, second, third. They were all behind us, and we had battle buddies from my squad that were there falling back. So I went back and I kind of helped them out. I was trying to motivate them, but it didn't work. I got all the way to the back with the command sergeant major, and then the command sergeant major was like, with the first sergeant too. He was like, "Yo, just go, shut up and go." And then I just, you know, yes, first sergeant, and then I just ran back up the hill, went up to my first platoon, and then I was there for the rest of the time. But bro, my lower back was killing me after that 12 mile. So we get there, and then we slept. We wake up the next day. We wake up to like mortars and artillery rounds, and it's fake, but it was trying to simulate it. And then we have to run and do all these things and WTBDs, and you know, you need to turn and run somewhere else whenever you get incoming. And then you get indirect fire. You need to figure out where they're shooting from, and then eliminate the enemy. And then you sleep another night there. Again, you get woken up to the same thing, but this time get you walk towards like the next night you don't sleep. So the first night you sleep, but the next night you don't sleep. You're up since 3 in the morning till 5 the next morning. So you're up for 24 hours. A lot of people think they can do 24 hours, but not with the amount of stuff we did for the forge. So we woke up, we rucked. We went to another place, we established our position. We had to go through an intense drill, whereas we had to carry people on a litter, improvise, make a litter. We had to figure out like certain things. We had to do land nav during the forge, little things that consisted of everything we did during basic. We had to do it. Our gas mask. We had to put our gas mask on. After that, during the night, you go to an intense indirect fire training, which is like you go inside this like wood line and you're just walking and out of nowhere you just get shot and then you have to kind of figure out where they're going 3Ds and then shoot. And during the simulation people die, like not die, but people play dead and then they have to get them on the gurney, rush them to where we're going, but we need to move as a group. Once we're done with that, we go through a huge obstacle course. After that obstacle course, we get into Nick at Night, whereas we're like low crawling a whole football field while 240s are just banging over our heads. There's just rounds all over us. There's bombs, freaking all you hear is gunfire. So I said I wanted to experience the full scenario. So I took off my ear pro while I was there. You're not supposed to, but I took off my ear pro, and boy, do I regret that. It was loud. It was extremely loud. There was a time where they shoot up a flare, and whenever the flare gets shot up, you're supposed to stop moving. When they shoot up that flare, they go ham with the 240s and a whole mess of grenades. It's just explosion, explosion. All you're hearing is just a constant like. Like if there was a war going on. The flare goes out, so you keep on moving. 240s they go lower. You know they stop shooting as much rounds. All you see is tracers go above you because at night you shoot with tracers. All you see is tracers, and then we get up. I have sand all over me. I take off all my equipment. I get the sand off. Put all the equipment back in the. I put my IOTV inside of this huge LMTV. I put all my equipment, and then we get into a bus and we go back to the company. After that, you enter a phase called Victory Week. That was the best week we've had in a minute because we're so used to being constantly under this high level of stress, and then the drill sergeants they don't even call you trainees anymore, and you're constantly called trainee this, trainee that. Hey, trainee, you're just a piece of shit, trainee. You're nothing but a trainee. Once you graduate, well, once you not graduate, but once you finish the forge, you technically graduated, and everyone starts calling you soldier. They give you the patching ceremony. They patch you, get the U.S. Army patch, and after that, you just feel this relief of I finally did it. I'm finally here. After all the struggle, the 3 months that I was there, I'm finally here. I'm a soldier now. Everybody treats you like a soldier now. All the drill sergeants they don't smoke you. Everyone's nice now. You get your phones back until graduation day. Once graduation day comes, you graduate. You have this huge graduation ceremony. Sadly, family wasn't allowed at my graduation, at least, but they put it on live stream on Facebook. So my family, my girlfriend was watching, and you leave the very next day to AIT. I will say this: when you go to basic, make sure you keep in contact with the people you went to basic with because it's kind of sad that you're there for 3 months with the drill sergeants, even drill sergeants, your battle buddies, and you go through all this intensive training, all this pain. Everyone feels the same pain you're feeling. Everybody needs to wake up same hour, doesn't want to wake up. Everyone has to do PT that you don't even want to do. Everyone is going through the same thing. You just create this bond with a person, which it makes you realize that the friendships you make in the military will be better friendships than in the civilian world. And I say that till this day because I have had friends that I've known my whole life who just leave. And these people that you go to basic with and AIT with and fight with, they're there and they're not leaving you. it's like we're built into our minds that we need to figure out what the other person is thinking, how they're thinking, why they're thinking it, and how can I fix it. We always help out each other. So us leaving each other during basic and IT is kind of sad, but you know things happen, man. Later on in the future, you might see them again. Hopefully, you know, because that's a really good sight to see, man. Old basic training buddy or AIT buddy with you in the same company. That's really nice to have. You know, at least you know someone there. But other than that, that was my basic training. There's a lot more stuff during basic training that I actually didn't talk about, but we can possibly leave that for another video. Just leave down in the comments what you guys want to hear about. Because in all reality, man, basic training is a lot. And if I were to tell you, you wouldn't be surprised. You would just be expecting something and then it won't happen. Or it would happen and you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember this. Like I watched this video and half of the stuff that they did on the video I didn't even do because of coronavirus. So me telling you something, I don't want to set you up for failure. So if you guys do want to hear about something, just leave it down in the comments. I'll let you guys know because I love basic training. I love talking about basic training. So see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe, and I'll get to it, man. Remember, what time is it? It's time to change, bro. If you need to join the military, let me know. Comment, and I'll give you guys a little text. Put your name and number on it. I'll give you guys a little text and try to help you guys and join the best branch of the United States military. Who?